There's some 30-year-olds who are still boys, and there's some 16-year-olds who are still men. Being a man has nothing to do with age. It has to do with responsibility. Responsibility over your own life and your own actions, and responsibility of the people around you, of your community, and of the people that you love. And boys will never turn into men until they take on this responsibility. I, 2 years ago, had no sense of responsibility. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a plan for exactly where I wanted to be. My actions didn't match my words. And my mom was struggling to pay rent. And all I would do when I got home from school was just sit there and scroll on reels and mentally masturbate my ass off. Until one day, the situation got bad enough. It came to a point where we literally could almost not pay rent, and I knew that I had to do something. I was finishing high school, and I knew I am not going to go to college. And that's when it struck me. I could either grab my own balls and take responsibility of my own life and do what I wanted to do, or I could let my parents decide for me because I didn't want to have responsibility, and I'd have to go to college. And I decided to finally take a grip of my own life. So I finished high school, I didn't go to college, and about 5 months later, I landed a job online as an appointment setter. And in the first 6 months of becoming an appointment setter, I went from making $0 unemployed to making my first $4,000 month. I became responsible for a lot of things since then. I helped my mom be able to rent this beautiful place right next to the beach. I became responsible for being able to pay every time my girlfriend and I went out. I became responsible even with my friends. Every time that we would go grab something to eat, I would pay. And I don't want you to confuse yourself and think that responsibility has to do with money. No, it doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with being able to provide something. So for example, in this case, money. What does money get you? It gets you safety, it gets you not having to stress about paying rent constantly, and it gets you being able to eat and drink and not really having to worry about how much it costs to a certain degree. I'm not super rich, but you get the point. I also had to start taking responsibility, once I had taken responsibility of the others around me, of myself. Who did I want to become? What type of man did I want to be? What did I want to make of myself? And more importantly, what did I want to make of this world? Because you have a reality and you have a consciousness, but you're not aware that it's actually your reality. And you choose what happens with it. And so you can spend the next 10 years of your life doing absolutely fuck all, and 10 years later realizing the mistakes you've done and wishing you could go back. Or you could start now and bite the bullet, and in 10 years live the exact life that you are wanting to live, being able to provide for your family, being able to provide for your children, being able to provide for yourself. And you will never become a man until you take the decision to plant your foot down and stop moving around life like a fucking jellyfish, because that's what you're doing right now. You have a life and you just take zero control of it. You let life, people, outcomes, society, your friends, your family, your girl, you let all of them tell you where to go. You have no individual thought process of, hey, I'm not going to listen to him, I'm going to listen to myself, and I'm going to do X, Y, Z to get to H outcome. You don't have that. You're still a boy. And so to become a man, you need to become responsible about yourself, first of all, because if you can't become responsible of yourself, then don't even think about other people. Once you've learned to control yourself and to get specific outcomes for yourself, you start moving to people. Look at the people around you. Look at the people you love. What are they doing that you wouldn't want them to have to be doing? Maybe it's your mom having to work 2 jobs. Maybe it's your girlfriend having to split the bill with you. I hope to God it's not, but maybe it is. Maybe it's your brother who's off in college and sometimes needs a bit of extra money. How can you start taking responsibility for those people? And look, it doesn't even have to be money. Maybe your mom goes out and works, and so she needs the dishwasher to be all organized. Do that for her. Make her job easier. Maybe your girlfriend is trying to fix something, so you go ahead and watch a YouTube video and fix it for her. You make yourself responsible of the people that you love. And lastly, comes the most important part, and this is something that I've been thinking about recently. You have an absolutely necessary responsibility to make sure that you're providing for your future children. Because one day, I hope, you're planning on having kids, and you're planning on having a family. And that family does not deserve an incapable little boy who cannot even put food on the table and who can't give them the life that they wanted and that you've never had. So what can you do today to make sure, to make absolute certain that in 5-10 years when you have that family, they're going to be taken care of for the rest of their lives? And I'll tell you what it is. You can go any path, but there's one thing that you have to do, is take responsibility over that. When you wake up, realize, I am a man, I have responsibility today, I have a responsibility for my past, for my ancestors, for my last name, and I have a responsibility to provide for the people in my future. And until you understand this, you will not become a man.